whenever anyone comes into our city to discuss a large development, those engineering meetings end up having first. And one of the big concerns with this development in this 115 acres in this land was obviously the infrastructure, right? The city had already had a plan and was already in the process of development for widening of Mile. It's been a long time coming, it's been kind of one of those things. And in Mile and where it would be widened. And it doesn't go all the way to Foxton on Mile.
It's pertinent for this.
Which was
Not from my
discussed
discussion. Anyways,
3
when
years
you want to
ago.
discuss, yes, we discussed it 3 years ago. Yes, okay, so there it is. So that was already there. With this development, when we talked about it, we discussed widening Plainview Road, we discussed curbs, gutters, streets, sidewalks. Widening of Mile Road should also be a portion of the responsibility of the developer. And so moving forward, that is part of this reason.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
Okay, first of all, we can start
I
with,
have one
question?
question.
oh, I'm sorry.
High density. Now, this is the commercial neighborhood.
Commercial
What-
no, high density
High
is,
density is different.
Yeah, excuse me, okay. But what is involved with commercial neighborhood?
commercial neighborhood is, it can be a gas station, it can be a convenience store, it can be a daycare, it can be a barber, anything that's commercial. Can't be a Walmart, right? You can't put any like large, it's commercial that services neighborhoods. So think of like a little strip center, think of a daycare, think of a gas station, a convenience store.
Easy shop or something like that.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Just hang on just a minute,
I
okay?
just have a question on that.
Well,
The
we-
public hearing is not open yet.
It's not open yet, just 1 minute, and we'll let you speak. So Mike, did you get your answer that you needed?
Yeah, do you know what, or
The
can
proposed
Steve?
bids at this time, does Mr. Fox?
I can ask him if, at
Yes.
the right time.
Stephen Fox, speak to the applicant.
He wants to know.
We do not have a design concept today. We don't know what the property will be zoned. So there is not a design concept. I did attend the staff meeting. Obviously, my client will need to participate in the cost of the infrastructure, water, sewer, paving, on both Mile and Plainview. So that's just part of it. If you complete the development, what'll happen?
But you don't have any more details at this point.
Well, we don't have any plans right now. If the property doesn't get, if you spend money now doing design work and the property doesn't get zoned,
Then you waste all that.
you're wasting your money. Yes. So, you know, in reality, there are not going to be new homes, buildings, apartments in a year or two. This is 5 or 6 years out. The population will be here. It's going to take time to put the infrastructure in, come up with a design concept of, if you go to apartments, design concept of what could possibly be in the commercial neighborhood area. There's not even been any, advertising that this is available property for sale yet. So we're not to the design concept yet, so we're not to the building yet, or the people moving in.
Is there, on down the road, is there any other review of the, more definite plans available?
We'll have a preliminary plat phase. We'll be right here talking to you on preliminary plat phase. We'll have a final plat phase. City staff will review all of the construction drawings for infrastructure. We got multiple review processes.
Question for Jessica. So, do we have assurances from the city that the streets, water, sewer, all the infrastructure work that we're telling these people is going to happen will be completed before any of this other work begins?
Well, we do a lot of subdivisions all over our city, and just as every subdivision wants the city to pay for water, sewer, and streets, we don't, right?
The developer.
The developer, and you've heard me a million times say, the developer has to pay for that, which is, developers aren't thrilled, but that's kind of the reality of it. The city, we don't use our tax dollars for, future infrastructure unless it's like in a master plan, which we did in this area, and that's why there's water and sewer available for these type of developments because a long time ago, we did that. However, like based on the size of this, that 115 acres, what's there is not sufficient, right? Like a lift station's gonna have to be put in. We're not gonna put that in. The developer would have to put that in if he gets to develop, right? If roads, gutters, streets, drainage, there's no gutters or sidewalks right now on Mile or Plainview, but those are gonna have to go in. We're not gonna pay for that. That's a requirement now when you do a new subdivision, and that would have to go for the developer.
Are you good?
And I just imagine that in 5 years, and I'll just be honest, if I have my way, in 5 years or 10 years, those requirements are gonna get stricter, right? Because we gotta keep moving forward. We're
How
not
far
going
south?
backwards.
How far south on Plainview would it be widened?
It would depend on the traffic study and depend on what they actually built, right? Without a design
But they would
guideline,
have to pay
they
for
would
it.
have to pay for it. Oh, any more questions for Mr. Fox?
Hold on.
From that, right now, right time, yeah. No?
Thank you, Mr. Fox.
Okay, now, let's start the 20 minutes now.
Open the public hearing?
Yes. And for the, anyone that is for it will have 3 minutes. And we're going to time it. Is anybody for the addition that wants to speak?
Okay.
Okay, anybody against it? Well, what,
Hold on.
You have to live.
We'll
I
take turns.
live I live on Valley Ranch Road.
Is that what
It's
you
in the city limits.
Okay.
When you stand up, just state your name and your
Kerry
address.
McGill. I'm an
And your
attorney here
address.
in town, Greer McGill.
Okay, 3 minutes, Gary.
First
Yeah, you go ahead. Thank you.
of all, we talk about infrastructure, we talk about promises that have been made by the city to make sure that all the developments that occur will suffice with our road system, simply have not been timely, or they are absolute falsehoods. I live off that road. 3 years ago, there was a promise to fix Mile Road, because it is horrible, horrific. They've thrown some asphalt on it in the last month. I guess we're getting ready for the hearing and want to say, hey, people aren't falling off the sides of the ditches anymore. But whatever they say does not materialize. Where do you stop it? You stop it with city planning. I am not a city planner. I looked at Google and I said, what would be best? How do we use the infrastructure that we have that's already in place? How do we use the roads that we have for 115-acre development for land that we already have in the city? And I was in trial most of the week. I didn't have long. I apologize for the rudimentary exhibits, but here is basically Google of where the 115-acre development is going to be. That's marked in pink or red. And then 5 other options that are actually closer to the infrastructure: I-35, I-70, 4-lane roads or interstate, that would be a proper beginning for this type of development, so that the city doesn't waste millions of dollars building new roads. They say somebody else is going to pay for them, but you know what? I've been sitting there 3 years. They never do. They promise to pay it. The city, I don't see any lawsuits going on saying, hey, pay for my last developer. No, doesn't happen. So what we have to end up with is we have to build a city with what we have and as efficient as possible before we go out into the suburbs or into rural area, this is now agriculture. Obviously, there's going to be growth. I understand there's going to be single-family dwelling homes built next to single-family building homes because there is development. Absolutely. But you put commercial with commercial. Does that make sense? Makes sense. Put high-rise, high-density, high population, high road traffic apartments near infrastructure that can support it, such as I-70, Highway 77, Highway 70, I-35, where we're not spending, the city, either millions of dollars building the roads or $1 million of maintaining them, because I promise you,
We're paying for them later.
we're going to pay for them eventually, because the developer is not going to come back and start filling potholes, I can tell you that. for, instead of 100 cars a day, 1,000 cars a day.
Thank you.
So, okay, I get to come back for the next time, right?
No, that's your time, that's your 3 minutes.
He means the
Okay.
next case, don't you?
Yeah, we have 2 more cases.
Yeah. Well, here's the preview.
Okay, anybody else against, that lives in the area? Just tell us your name and
Your
My name
address.
is Connor Dunn. I live at 704 Campbell Street. I'm an attorney with Morty Law here in town, and I'm president of professional capacity.
who are you representing?
At this time, our law office has not been formally retained. I'm requested to attend
You
this
don't live in
hearing.
the area, then you're not going to, you can't speak first.
So I'm not allowed to speak in this hearing.
Not in the beginning.
You may be able to speak after everybody who lives in the area.
Yeah, it's the people that live in the
Unless you're
area.
representing somebody in the area.
My
Sorry.
apologies.
Define the area.
You live there?
241 South Main Street on Foxton.
Who else lives close by that wants to?
I live close by, but it's gonna take more than 3 minutes.
Well, that's why we have it.
Hi there, my name is Blake Smith. I live at 5408 Mile Road, less than a half mile from where this will all be happening. It's hard to get started. There's a lot here for this. We're talking about the neighborhood commercial now. With the thing that it's not needed at the moment, we're talking about this is a 3-part process, but I think to get started with all this from the beginning, on the comprehensive plan that the city paid all the money for, it talks about specifically transportation issues, congestion around schools, talking about how the city needed to adopt roadways to increase access, mobility, and safety development, specifically around schools and construction sites. That was on page 40, section 1. Establish specific traffic and circulation management strategies for areas impacted congestion, specifically around schools and major intersections. I don't feel like it's done either. The waiting in and out of the school is really bad. We talked about Mile Road. I agree. Before I was at the hearing with the Indians Plain development that went in, I listened to Jessica and some of the others say, hey, we'll get the road taken care of. Like we just heard from the citizen that lives right there next to it. Couple loads of asphalt, it's all been done. It's really a mess. We've got kids that are loading on buses on the back of a hill off Mile Road off Indian Plains because they didn't build a turnaround section large enough for the school buses. A friend of mine graduated alumni Plainview, myself alumni Plainview, been in Ardmore my whole life. It's one of her kids, people that go to school there, grew up there. I mean, these are locals. Your decision matters on this. It just gets me upset. There's a lot, like you said, promises, and we haven't seen fulfilled. We talked about expanding Mile Road. Great. We're going to do that up to where? Well, we say Valley Ranch Road. There's people that still live in the city limits to go beyond that, all the way to Foxton. The whole west section of Foxton is also in the city limits. It's another thing. We'll do the minimum we can just to make sure it looks like we're doing something. There's a lot more, I feel like, that's there on the table that would really help the people in that area. Crossroads, specifically, we have the school that's already congested. We're talking about another 115 acres of homes. 74 acres, RS9, I'm speaking quickly, I apologize, but I've got a short time here. 9,000 square foot into what, 74 acres, estimated 368 homes is the average. You take out a little bit off that for roads, infrastructure, whatever you need to get there, 325, 350, great, it's a lot of people. We didn't speak about the addition that's west of that. That's going to be another 20 additional homes. It's not part of this hearing, but there is more homes spoke about there as well. So add that to the group, 100 homes at Indian Plains, so we're talking 500 homes in less than a mile radius around the school. Okay, it's really getting congested, it's a hazard, there's a lot there. I wonder, we're talking about this first for the commercial side of things. Is it needed if the homes aren't there? Does one part pass, the other two might not? How does that work?
They're all 3 separate applications.
Okay, that's another thing I want to know. And then I'm just gonna, I've got a lot here, I'm gonna try to just do a little bit each time.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, all right, land use that was in the Ardmore Comprehensive Plan. It says right here, new development within the agriculture and rural residential areas, which is currently where this is located, should be discouraged, limiting the conversion of these areas to more intense development. Instead of the city should focus on development in
Sir, your time is up.
5 seconds.
No, your time's up.
You're going to speak again, start right there the next time.
You got 2 more shots.
Okay, anybody else for it?
And against it.
I mean,
Against
against
it,
it,
who's
sorry.
here?
Okay, Betsy.
Of all days to have laryngitis, it's today. So bear with me. I'm Nancy Wright, I live in Plainview Estates, and when I moved out there 20 years ago, we looked out and saw a barn and cows. Well, since then, it has changed, and that's all right, we've adapted. primary school, we had a terrible Plainview crowd on Plainview Road. They alleviated that, the school did, by making an exit and come down into Plainview Estates. That's been a major problem. But if you put in more traffic on that mile Plainview intersection, I can see people coming through there to take a shortcut to get through the Plainview traffic. It's just a parade every day, and this will do nothing to help our neighborhood. It's very disruptive. That's what I say.
Thank you. We're on 20 minutes.
You're at about
10. Okay, does anybody else want to speak against it? Okay.
My name is Barbara Turner. I live in Plainview. And there's no room for our children. There's congestion. Everybody's already using all of our streets over there. It's just, I'm just against any more, especially the C-stores, service stations. No.
Thank you. Anybody that lives in the area else would like to speak against it? If not, you go ahead.
Oh.
Oh.
Jack Graves, I live on Valley Ranch Road. So the Plainview School District, the way that the school's set up, there's parts of the school on both sides of Mile Road, and parts of the school on both sides of Plainview Road. You have the youngest of elementary children, the primary elementary that crosses the road, and has to cross the road now across Plainview Road. And we're asking to put in up to 500 more homes and increase traffic even more, and to put children at risk. If you try to drive through Plainview School now, if you try to drive through there from 7:30 to about 9 o'clock, it's impossible to pass through there. And we're asking to put even more people on those roads. I don't think I think it's a safety issue. I think that it's the wrong thing to do, to put industrial, or whatever word it is, commercial, high-density homes, and then hundreds of more houses. I think that's a safety issue for our children. I think it's wrong to vote for that.
Carter Dunn, I'm an attorney with Morty Law, and I just have a couple of questions that I'd like to pose to the board regarding this proposed development. My question is whether this board has been provided with a copy of the City of Ardmore's comprehensive development plan, and whether that has been evaluated in the board reaching their decision or their evaluation regarding this proposed development.
Yes, everyone has access to the comprehensive
Yes.
plan, and if you notice in the comprehensive plan, there's a development area on it, right? That includes where future development should go, and this is in that phase 2.
Okay.
This is in that proposed area where development should be.
Okay. And within that plan, is there also any sections regarding infrastructure, let's say, roads?
Absolutely, which is why infrastructure would be required on this 115 acres, right? We wouldn't let them go in and not put in roadways, not put in curb and gutter, not put in sidewalk. On some of the smaller developments, we make them put their own in on theirs. Indian Plains, city doesn't pay for that. If the other home that's coming in, that's like the other development, we're not gonna pay for those roads, right? They're not as large of a development, so we didn't make them participate in the cost of mile. However, since this is, and like per the comprehensive plan, right, and per our city ordinances, since it is such a large development, we would do the perimeter paving requirement and kind of the other infrastructure requirement. I mean, it could be even traffic, depending on a traffic study, it could be traffic devices, could be crosswalks, could be, whatever it is.
All right, and that's all I have for the board. Thank you all.
Thank you. Anybody else?
We can probably have space for one more.
One more. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Tim. Yeah, so I've actually we have children that go to Plainview primary, and now I have an elementary school. It's like, just so you know, almost every week, the children in Plainview primary are supposed to be going up and crossing the road over in part of their Rise and Shine. And of course, they started having busing because of Plainview. I already mentioned earlier how it's like the idea that we have a major thoroughfare going through a school campus is already kind of absurd. And the idea that of course adding more traffic to it. And then you have all these new subdivisions, like let's say the one, what is that one?
Indian Plains.
Indian Plains, which was pretty much within a mile of Plainview. And last I checked, if you live within a mile, you should be able to, ride a bike or safely walk to school. And the fact that we don't even consider infrastructure to be able for kids to do that is kind of absurd to begin with. As far as like, then you're thinking about adding a gas station or maybe a pharmacy on the corner of that, you're just adding more, it's like more incentive for children to want to cross the road and for more traffic to be going in there, instead of actually focusing on a community where, hey, it's safe to actually just, walk or ride a bike to, which kind of is like kind of defeats the purpose. There are other places in the greater Ardmore area, not necessarily Plainview, that is lacking development. We have these large structures, even downtown, that we could, if you rezone them as mixed use, put apartments up in there to alleviate some of our housing issues and have infrastructure. And then not even worry about having to maintain long tracks of roads with potholes or in electrical and everything down there. Because yes, these contractors might be building things for now and we will be taking up the cost, but I guarantee in 20 years, you're going to be paying to maintain it.
Absolutely, just like we have to pay to maintain it now with people who
Yeah.
live out there.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so it's like, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, I personally want to live in a community where it's safe for a kid who live in Plainview Estates to be able to walk to school. I do think if they could convince the Plainview primary tour, instead of that circle drive exiting in the back, to exit in front to Plainview Road, that would actually prevent people from wanting to even drive back there or do any sort of bypass, since they're never going to be going back there in the first place. I would love for the community to consider finding a way to actually see if you can get that whole intersection out from the middle of the school. And so that way, if you have a school campus that is safe for people, for the kids to be able to go from the elementary to the primary, for the high school to walk to the games or whatnot, and not worry about it.
What was your name and address? So you can write it down?
It's 241 Hatley Beach. It's like I'm in Plainview. I'm in.
You're not in the city,
Okay.
but I just want to know where you live.
Okay.
We'll write it down.
I'm sorry.
I have a question. Are you against any growth?
No, I actually am a really big proponent of actually mixed-use developments. I think that when you have commercial businesses underneath apartments, it actually inspires those developments to have an interest in the pedestrian infrastructure.
That's like downtown.
Yeah, it's like, and so it's not really feasible in more rural areas. But when you're talking about, hey, when you're designing your town, about a place that you want to live in, it's about being able to walk by it and see and enjoy it rather than, oh, is it appealing to a person driving in a car? So, that was my 2 cents. Sorry if we're not, it says I'm in city
I was
limits.
trying to figure it out, because we didn't hear you when you spoke. We write it all down for the minutes.
Okay.
Jessica, is there more time?
I will. That's it for this one, but there'll be another one.
Okay, all right, guys, I need to hear a motion for,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to deny.
to deny it? Okay. Second, okay. Roll call?
Bob Bates,
Yes.
Now, when you're saying yes, you're denying it.
That is correct.
Okay,
Chris Sandvik,
No.
Claudia Kittrell,
yes.
Deanne Chatham,
Yes.
Eric Howard,
Yes.
Ethan Bateman,
Yes.
Gustavo O'Connor,
No.
Mike Heisey,
Yes.
Wayne Lawson.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along. Consider and take action on a request from Fox Engineering on behalf of LEED LLC for a rezoning of 16.76 acres from ag zoning to RMH zoning district located on the 4200 block of Mile Road, account number 54735 and account number 91942. And approval or rejection of any amendments proposed and considered by the Planning Commission at the meeting, case number 22412.
Before you move on, this is a recommending body. It actually is going to go before City Commission on the 16th in the same room at 6 o'clock, where there'll be another public hearing. Okay, now we can move on. This is Z24-12, and it is a request from Fox Engineering on behalf of LEED LLC to rezone property from AG Agriculture to RMH Residential Multifamily High Density on the 4200 block of Mile Road. So this is going to be on Mile Road, and it is going to be west of that corner property. Again, it's part of that 115-acre development. This is the high density, so what you would have is you would have the commercial, then you would have the high density, which would be the buffer between the commercial and then the single-family residential, which is why they kind of designed it that way. And you'll see like the single-family residential goes in an L. Any questions for me? Oh, and staff recommends approval still.
If you all have any questions? How big of an apartment building would go there?
It just depends on what they decide. It doesn't have to be an apartment building. RMH is anything over a duplex.
Okay.
So it could be triplexes, it could be townhomes, it could be fourplexes. It doesn't have to be, that's what that zoning allows.
Okay.
Right? Other zonings don't allow anything up but like a duplex. And so if you want something more than a duplex, it's this zoning.
Okay, anybody else have any questions on the board? Anybody for this rezoning that would like to speak? Steve Fox?
I'll be happy to answer any additional questions.
I kind of had, and you've already answered my inquiry that you don't have any, do you have any proposed off-the-wall plans?
Oh, that's
Because there's a, you know,
We don't.
the range of this is a little
I have a question
concerning.
for Mr. Fox. Is this different than any other rezoning development, big ones that we've done within the city?
Start that over, please.
Is this different than what we've done in other places in the city where you rezone for future development?
No,
Do you normally have plans?
no, ma'am, I don't.
No, you normally do not.
Okay.
I've been
Okay.
coming
That's
to
not
this
what
planning commission for right at 40 years, and I don't do design work until we zone something.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't spend that money if it's gonna be.
Right. You have an answer to moving Plainview School out of this location? It's a done deal.
I mean, Plainview School picked their location, right?
Yeah, I know.
They built their school where they wanted to. The city's not gonna tell them where to build it. The
I
city's
know
not
that. No,
we
it's
don't
just
want to do
unfortunate.
that, right? If they want to walk their kids across the street, that's their decision, not the city's.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anybody against that lives near the area? Let's get some people that haven't spoken yet.
Who hasn't spoke yet that would like to?
That lady right there. Sure.
My name is Brenda Meyer. I live on Plainview Road in Plainview Estates. Just like coming to this meeting this afternoon, because of the time, I could barely get out of my driveway. Because even though when they come out of Plainview Estate, out of Plainview schools, they're not supposed to turn right on Prairie View. They do. I live on Prairie View. Then in order to get out of my driveway, then I get to Plainview, then I gotta fight that traffic. There was like 6 or 8 cars I had to meet that had come out of the school. So I'm opposed to any building in that area. Thank you.
Would you like to speak?
So, just real quickly, because I don't want to take up the minutes, so all the conversation has been about Mile Road.
I get your name,
please? I'm sorry, Lori Smith, I live in Southern Hills. All of the conversation has been about road development on Mile. My main road is Plainview. We've had increased traffic on that road because of the Southwest Park that was put in. I have received a letter this summer that there was going to be repairs and regrading of Plainview Road. Nothing has happened. They even gave us the directions how to reroute through Charleston and through my addition. Nothing has happened with that. I just don't understand the assurances if you add these extra homes, now talking about multi-density, which has multiple people living in and out of the neighborhood, increased traffic. You have a 4-way stop at Plainview and Mile. You really can't do anything different with that without a lot of construction with the city. The four-way stop, the entrance into the high school is right there. If you put traffic lights, you're going to impede traffic trying to turn into the high school. You're going to end up with a major standstill because it can't go anywhere if the traffic light is opposed to them. So that's mine.
Thank you. Anybody else that hasn't spoken? Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm off Plainview Road, Yorktown, is that close enough?
Where are you?
Yorktown Road, off Plainview Road?
Just
south of that part, okay. My name's Cassie Rory, 122 Yorktown Road. I drive that way every day, I come down Plainview Road every day I have 6 kids that go to Plainview schools. People are, 16-year-olds coming out of that high school lot every morning is a safety concern. And if we add 15 and 16-year-olds crossing that street, of course, if you live in an apartment right there, you're going to walk to school, I would think.
Or if there's anywhere safe to walk.
I don't even know if they care if it's safe. I mean, these 16-year-old drivers don't care if it's safe, so I don't know if walkers are going to care if it's safe. So you're going to have new drivers with young children walking all across that area. My main question, though, is what benefit does this bring to anybody who lives near there?
So these people, they own their property, right? The people who own this 150 acres, just like you own your property, and they
Right.
have a right to sell their property and request rezoning or development.
Right, but
Like
I'm
that's
asking
their
the
right.
community and the school and the children and the people who pay property taxes for that school, what advantage?
So when
It'll be more tax dollars for your school.
for the school, right? The city doesn't get property tax, I'll just tell you, right?
But if my property value goes down because of this multi-family unit, which it will, Plainview Estates, Southern Hills, the reason that people pay to live there is because there's some space. So I'm just putting it out there that I feel like the beneficiaries of this are not the kids at Plainview, not the teachers at Plainview, not the people who currently live there.
Amen.
Agree, 100%.
Okay. You keep track of time.
Hi, my name is Colton Henley. I live on Terra Drive in Southern Hills. Just to talk about a little bit about the expected development. One thing that hasn't been touched on is, do we have plans to build another fire station out there? Do we have plans to further staff the police station? Because right now, out there, if you call for fire, you may get dispatched by Long Grove.
Or Crowder Hills.
You will.
And Crider.
So if we don't have the infrastructure currently for the houses that we have, how can adding 500 be any type of a good idea? And secondly, adding 500 plus houses or apartments, whatever it may be, to that school district would make that school district 5A of the state of Oklahoma. So you guys, with it being landlocked, yes, the city doesn't tell you where to put the school, but if you do this, you are going to overrun the school, whether you like it or not. Whether it's your choice or not, that's a consequence.
It's
As
not
in-
500 houses, just so we,
Could it be 500 units?
I doubt.
Well, it could be a 16-acre apartment complex, just like the one next to Ardmore High School.
Well, I mean,
It could, just like the one next to Ardmore High School.
to be fair, Jessica, I mean, you haven't talked to the engineers, they don't have the ideas, so we don't know what it is, right? So for the record, it could be 500 unit apartments. We don't know.
Yes,
So 500 units, 500 people,
no, it's 4.
so
4 times the unit, you estimate 4 people living in that unit, so
yeah,
times 2,000.
Either way, you're going to inundate the school district, the infrastructure. We're already inundated with fire infrastructure. We need a fire station out there as it is, before you had all this. Now you add this on top of it. Might build a 2-story firehouse out there. True. That's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. How much time do we have left?
We're close, we got like 8.
8 minutes, anybody else?
Yeah, they need to pass these out real quick, because I don't want to get stuck.
You want to pass them to the board? I'll pass them, you talk.
Okay, here
How's that? Go quicker.
Goes to the board.
Okay.
And I recommend some extra time since no one's here in favor. They had 20 minutes allotted. There's a lot of people that are here that are against
Phil,
it.
no, that's
The
not
time
the
is
way it
already on
works.
the clock.
That's not the way it works.
Here real quick, I'm passing you out, these are 2 Google Maps. We talked about the comprehensive plan, we spent money on it years ago.
No, I'm going to share.
No. Somebody's got to share, I'm sorry, that's all I got.
That's all right, I'll stop sharing.
But here, you got these two. There's a wide view, there's a southwest view and a city overview. The city overview, based upon the comprehensive plan, has 7 different building sites for this 115-acre development that would be better and more useful to use the infrastructure than what we have with regards to this current proposal. Why is the alternative better? In just the southwest area, I have highlighted 5 different areas close to 4-lane highways, close to the interstate, that would not require the city to do much of anything, and would allow access for these developments to high-density freeways and highways. Why? The alternative sites already have adjacent access to the 4-lane roads and interstate. Number 2, will not clog 4-way Plainview school system. Number 3, will save city millions in new road construction infrastructure over the next 20 years. Number 4, will not create high-density traffic for drive-through neighborhoods like on Rockford and Mile. You got to understand, everybody that comes in and out from that apartment complex, and I'm talking 2,000 new people across the street from Plainview High School. I'm not talking about 200 or 300. I'm talking about 2,000. Well, yes, we'll go to 5A or 6A, yes, but where are all these cars going to go in the morning and in the evening? They're going to go down Rockford. They're going to go down Mile. How much more danger are we putting those kids and those families in danger? Because now we've increased our traffic patterns to something that just cannot exist. Are we going to now turn Rockford into a 4-lane? We're turning Mile into a 4-lane? Where as a city planner, where would I want to put something of this size and magnitude? Next to something that will handle the traffic. I've identified 5 different areas just southwest. Of course, we want to go north by the golf course. It always seems a little, no one wants to go there and touch that with that, but or go east. But all I'm saying is, as a city planner, be proactive about using your resources in a timely manner. Don't start backwards. And putting this kind of development in a rural area does not fit with the plan that you spent money on years ago. Please follow your comprehensive plan. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sir?
If the developer is required to pay for the road improvement, how does it, your number 3, will it save the city millions in road
It won't.
construction?
It's not relevant.
The city will maintain it for the next 20, 30, 40, 50
Well,
years.
but that's anywhere in the city, like she
Yeah.
said.
Sure, but what about building that development or next to a freeway that's already there or highway? You don't cost
The
anything.
person would have to have the land to develop it or want to develop it.
She can't dictate who buys what property and
No,
wants
she
to develop
cannot.
it. You're attributing something to her and she can't tell the city fathers and the city engineer where to put the money in the roads either. I mean.
Obviously not, because Miles said.
3 years is not a long time for city, unfortunately.
Okay.
I know, I hate to say that, it
That's
would take
fine.
forever.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It is frustrating, it's frustrating for me.
But you're shooting the wrong person.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to point out to the commission alternatives that may be better.
They're not for sale. Okay.
Hi, my name is Blake, off Mile Road. I just wanted to bring up something quickly here, because it's probably the most important of all of it. The public hearing notice that was posted, you guys all saw it on the corner there. No date that it was posted. It was showed that there is a meeting today, December 5th. I want to make sure we understand this does include single-family residential. It does include what we're speaking on now, which is the high density. And I also want to show Oklahoma statute, and I'll just read it here. This is state law. It says, all residents shall be given 20 days prior to the hearing by mailing or written notice from the Planning Commission based on multi-family facilities, which we're speaking on now. Written notice within 30 days. The date's not posted within 30 days, okay? The hearing with all property owners within 1/4 mile. I've spoken with several people within that group, that radius there, that have not been notified. There was no information sent out. This is not one occasion, this is multiple that we're speaking on. As close as the Southern Hills edition, which is 100% within that radius. So just understand that we are in violation of the state ruling on this. Just want to be clear before we do take a vote. And then I also wanted to mention too, We asked Jessica as to how big this could possibly be. If you look under the current zoning rule, multifamily high density, which is what we're speaking on, it states high-density mixed residential neighborhoods allowing duplexes and multifamily dwellings, when she stated, are capped at 80 feet. If I understand, that's 7 to 8 stories on 19 acres. Obviously, there's parking stuff included. She said she was unsure. I wanted to make sure that we knew there is actually defining limits here, and it's capped at 80 feet. Correct.
Yeah.
And if you add 10, 10, 10, 10, that's close to 7, 8 stories tall. The apartment complex across from Ardmore, I believe, is 3. So we're talking about probably 3 times that, maybe, just to understand. That's a lot. That's a lot of residents, 4 people per house, whatever it may be. They're gonna have kids, I would assume. If we take half of them, that's a lot of added. So, and then I also, she said not gonna be 500 homes. Did they give you the plans? Did you understand that? Or we just talked to the engineer here. He said he did not know. If we look at the information that's provided, we're talking about 74.77 acres. This is prior.
When you divide that up by the 9,000 square feet, you had roads and whatever.
361 minus the, okay, so that's one section. Again, we talked about the Indian Plains, we talked about the other 20. It's not known, there's another, totally different, but just understand there is more homes coming. There's 20 on the west side of Indian Plains. We'll talk about it at a later time, I'm sure. So there's a lot more to this. That's why we get pretty frustrated. And then the last thing about this, we just want to go back to the comprehensive plan. Again, speaking quickly, I apologize. Urban growth boundaries. There's a 3-tiered program that they asked that we recommend to follow. Tier 1 would be the surrounding areas within the city. That's marked in red. I'm sorry, this is small. They don't allow the slides. They'll have it at the next hearing. That's the red section, okay? What we're talking about is circled way over here, okay? The outer boundary of the city. If you go and read further past that, it actually recommends that you don't build in that section for this type of building that we're speaking on. We can get to that later.
Thank you. Okay. We need a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Second.
You made a motion to deny?
Oh, sorry, roll call. Sorry.
Madam Chairman.
Sorry.
Bob Bates,
Yes.
Chris Sandbeck,
Yes.
Claudia Kitchell,
Yes.
Deanne Chatham,
Yes.
Eric Howard,
Yes.
Ethan Bateman,
Yes.
Gustavo O'Connor,
Yes.
Mike Heisey,
Yes.
Wayne Lawson.
Yes.
Okay. This one is.
This one will go to city commission on Monday at 6 o'clock in this room.
And just because we voted the way we did does not mean that they will vote the same. That happens.
Your collective recommendations to them, is that what happens?
They don't always go with what
No.
we voted.
They get to hear what this body.
Absolutely, yes.
What?
For all the things that we just voted on.
Yes.
We have one commission meeting.
There was one meeting, just say it again,
The
honey.
16th, December 16th in this room at 6 o'clock.
December 16th, okay. All right, now we're going on to E. Consider and take action on a request from Fox Engineering on behalf of LEED LLC for a rezoning of 74.77 acres from agriculture zoning district to RS9 zoning district located on the 1900 block of South Plainview Road, account number 54735 and account 91942, and approval or rejection of any amendments proposed and considered by the Planning Commission at the meeting. Case number 224-13.
This is case Z 24-13. It is a request from Fox Engineering on behalf of LEED LLC. And it is to rezone approximately 74.77 acres from AG agriculture to single-family residential, 9,000 square foot minimum. It is located on, this is, like I said before, it's the third part, right? So on the corner, you have the commercial, behind that you have the multifamily, and this is kind of like an L shape, and it comes off on Plainview on the other side of Southwest Park as single-family residential. Again, it's part of that 115 acre land development, all in one. Any questions for me? Staff still recommends approval. Any questions for me? Okay.
Anybody, again, for this proposal? Steve Barnes. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Fox? Anybody that has not spoken, that is against it, that lives close to this area?
There's a gentleman back there.
There's somebody back there.
Please come forward.
Mike Gaither, I live on Rolling Hills Drive. Didn't know what to expect coming in today. Heard a lot of things that I hadn't even thought about. So today I just feel that the infrastructure is the one thing that really, really stands out. There is no way we have the infrastructure to put all these people, businesses, and plus, I don't know what kind of road work we've got to do in that area, but I can just imagine how much chaos it's going to be for road construction for multiple months in that area, in that small area. It's already kind of difficult sometimes even getting out on Rolling Hills Drive going on to Plainview Road. There's no light there. Coming out, and if I'm looking to the south, a lot of times you can't even see the traffic coming, and it's going to be very difficult to do the infrastructure here. And I don't even know how you would plan this out for the infrastructure. I have no idea. And then to put all these people into a subdivision and a school district that is a very small school district. I mean, I think Plainview normally graduates about 100 people. What is that going to do to the school district over years? They're going to have to build more schools or bigger schools, and it's going to blossom into more and more. And to me, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, like I said, I didn't know what to expect coming in here today, but this is eye-opening. I didn't realize that this could be this big a deal, but
It's a big deal.
it's a big deal. It really is. So, anyway, I just wanted to voice my concern.
Are you against any development there?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm against what we're talking about.
Even a single family?
Even a single family that's down here?
I don't know. I haven't put a lot of thought into it. This is the first time I've really thought
This
through
was the
this.
commercial neighborhood up here.
Yeah.
And this is the apartments.
I mean, I've been there 17 years, and, you know, they've developed some of that just south of where I'm at on Rolling Hills Drive. And it's taken 17 years, and they've probably put maybe 20 homes in that area. This is way different than that, so I don't know. I really don't know. And then, you know, we bring up, what is that gonna do to our property value also? I don't think we've really addressed that or talked about it. I just know that when you congest areas like this, I don't see anything good coming out of this in terms of property values. And that affects a lot of property owners in this area. I just don't think it's the best plan for that area, close to that school. Like I said, we're a little 3A school, and my kids are all grown now, but when you start putting hundreds of kids in a school, you got to do something. I mean, they built the elementary school. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mom. Anybody else? Okay.
You have it, man, did you? Go ahead.
No, one, there's two.
There's two.
You can go. Okay.
I'm Jessica Coleman. I live on South Rockford Parkway. I'm just coming from a parent. I'm a transplant to Ardmore. I'm from Woodward, Oklahoma, a very rural area. And when we moved here, the question I got all the time was, what school district are you going to go to? You're going to go to Ardmore or Plainview? We chose Plainview School District because of the sense of community, the neighborhood, the small size. I don't want a 5A school where I'd send my kids to Ardmore. I paid twice as much for a house and property taxes last year to buy a house in Plainview School District for that reason. You put in an apartment complex or a whole bunch of smaller homes.
We're talking about single family on this.
Single families.
Okay.
300 plus.
300 plus, all our property value is going to go down. There is no doubt about it. And you're going to grow a school to the point of where most of us do not want it to be. And where will the school even expand? Where can they even build if this all goes in? So I'm against all of it.
Thank you.
My name's Kim Ditto, I live on Southern Hills, I've been there since '95, and I ditto everything everybody said. There's too many people. I know when they put in the park, they were trying to just get water to those bathrooms, just for the park. And they were checking the manhole that's in my yard, they were checking the ones down the road. They couldn't even find a place to get that sewer for the park, because my area right there is already at capacity. So I own the lot that faces that empty lot that I get to look out at every day, and no houses or anything. And I imagine at some point homes are gonna go in there, but as of this point right now, I'm against it, so.
Thank you.
One more leaving in the back, and then I think it's you. I think that was,
Anybody else that has not spoken that would like to speak?
there was someone in the back.
Okay.
There she is. I saw her.
I can't see her.
I'm Ferris Anderson, not actually in 257 Tuscan Road.
Oh, you're not in the city.
Can I speak though?
That's
I'm not in city limits.
Is there anybody within?
Anybody else that has not spoken, no, that has not spoken?
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's raised her hand.
Sorry, I didn't see.
Kim Benedict, and I live at the end of Hess Road. So not right in the Mile Plainview area, but has one entrance in and one entrance out. And right